Hi everyone, I'm Erez and I'm the CEO of Genda. Genda is a platform designed for construction site managers to enhance their process clarity on site. I'll start with a quick introduction of myself. So I started my career in construction 10 years ago as a construction worker, but the story of Genda begins 7 years ago when I was a superintendent for a big Israeli general contractor. And I was doing my daily routine, which was basically walking around the site, chasing my own tail, trying to figure out what's happening in my project, meaning which workers came to work, where they are, what are they doing, if they're doing what I want them to do or anything else. And I was climbing up and down the stairs, sweating, breathing heavily, trying to find an answer to that question, but I couldn't. So I decided to put an end to that. And I did a bachelor's and master's in civil engineering, just to find out that the problem wasn't me, but the global problem, with site managers all around the world trying to answer the same questions and are facing the same difficulties of managing the construction sites properly because they lack real-time information on resource status, task progress, and where their attention is needed as managers. How big is that problem? So a recent FMI report shows that 35% of the manager's time is going to waste on non-productive tasks. And this leads to nearly $180 billion of labor cost lost, and $31 billion of work that is being reworked. This is a lot of time and money going to waste due to management difficulties. And this is why we've decided to create Genda, a platform that provides clarity on what's happening in the construction project by generating data from the production floor. So how do we do that? We call our solution MAV, Monitor, Analyze, Visualize. The first step is to generate this valuable data, and I'll explain how in a second. Then we analyze the data using machine learning and pattern recognition to an understanding of what's really happening in the project. And it's then visualized for the construction site managers so they can make these data-driven decisions. So how do we generate the data? We use two components, IoT sensors that we deploy on site and the smartphone's application. The sensors are just glued to the ceiling. There's no preparations, no electricity, no connectivity needed. You just glue those up and we install an application in the worker's smartphone. Using the combination of both, we can tell in which apartment a resource is completely automatically and in real time. And that's the raw data that we generate. We then analyze the data so we can answer three of the site manager's biggest questions, which are, where is everything? What is happening? And where should I be as a manager? So for the first question, we've created a live site map showing the site manager exactly where his resources are. We then take the pieces of data together and create an understanding of what's the status of a specific location. So for each, let's say, apartment, we can say if it's under construction, if it's been constructed, or if construction has started and got stuck for some reason. And we then highlight the manager exactly where and when his attention is needed and he can make an impact. Because let's face it, construction site can be a bit chaotic. We manage numerous locations, hundreds of workers, and there are specific places in time that we can really make an impact on the process. And I'll give an example. Let's take flooring. So the first step, we show where the flooring workers are. We then show where flooring is taking place. And that's much more crucial because we manage workflow, we manage work, not people. And that's the second phase. And if we talk about when in the process the manager should attend the location, so again, in the flooring, we want to be there like 30 minutes after they begin, because that's when they put the first tile in place. If that's in the right level, in the right angle, and done right, the whole apartment will go fine. But if that's done wrong, the whole apartment will go wrong and have to be reworked. So because we control the process, we highlight to the manager, flooring has just started in apartment 18. You should be there in 30 minutes because that's when you can make an impact. That's when you can make sure it's according to quality, to the plan, and it's what you want it to be. And by that, we eliminate the rework that might follow. We are supported by leading innovation hubs in Israel, by the Israel Innovation Authority, and we've been funded by an American VC called ICI. We're working with several construction companies in Israel, and we've just started our way in the US after signing 2 major contracts with the leading general contractor in Dallas. Just in the midst of the corona, we've signed 3 weeks ago. So how does the process look like? So when a customer is out of the sales funnel, we start with a 3 to 6 month pilot period with 1 to 3 construction projects to make sure there is fit. And we then evolve to an enterprise deal for the entire project of the company, let's say 15 to 20. And this allows us to create a lot of traction while keeping the sales and marketing costs to the minimum. If we talk about the payments, or the payment is split into 2. There is one-time payment for hardware and implementation, which is paid at the beginning, and a monthly subscription fee for the service that is paid during the project lifetime. Let's give a few words about competition. So when we look at competition, we look at two sections. One is site management platforms, which basically allow the workers to update what's happening manually, and that doesn't really happen. So let's focus about wearable solutions. Wearable solutions basically use the same beacons as we do, more or less, and they place those on the helmet, on the vest, on the belt, and they require gateways that will be installed on site. These gateways require electricity and connectivity. So our advantages are in several layers. First, our data is completely automatic. There's no need for any manual inputs. Our data resolution is much higher. It's in real time. It's in apartment scale and user specific. While our competitors can only provide level scale or zone in the project, we provide apartment scales. And that allows us to create real value for our customers, like everything I just showed you a minute ago. Another advantage is the ease of deployment. Because all you have to do is just glue the beacons into place and install the application. We can deploy an entire site in one day. The second there is a ceiling, we can install. So we can get running really fast and really early in the process. But we believe that our biggest advantage is in our approach, which is workers first. What we found out from the field is that monitoring can be inconvenient. And it makes sense. And when you use wearable solutions, you're basically forcing the workers to join in because you don't have any other option. So we decided to take a different approach. And because we use a mobile app, we create value for the construction workers to get their buy-in in the process. So we created what we call Genda Toolbox, which is an application designed for construction workers and that answer their daily needs. If it's watching drawing or calling the construction hoist or reporting safety hazards or asking for more material and numerous other features. These are all things that help the workers in their daily routine and incentivize them to buy in. And by that, we make the implementation process, which is always the hardest part when we talk about construction technologies. We all face it, much easier, and that's key. A few words about the current situation. So COVID-19 came into our life a while ago. Construction sites are obviously essential. They keep on running, but there are a lot of health limitations on site. And we found out that most of the limitations are about two key things, communication and location, which are exactly the strengths of Genda. So if we talk about communication, we allow site managers to send mass messages to the workers, update about health regulations. We allow the workers to answer the daily symptom checkup that is obligatory in many locations in the US inside our platform, and by that make the process much easier and faster. And by that we improve communication. If we talk about location, we have two features, which are social density and contact tracing. So we allow site managers to set a limit of people allowed in a specific place. And once this limit is crossed, everyone in the location is notified, the manager is notified, and by that we help them maintain social distancing or social density. And the second thing we do, which is contact tracing, let's say we have a confirmed case on site. Today, what they have to do is to question the worker, where you've been and who you came in contact with, which is not very useful. What we do is we ask for the name and the time frame, and we provide two lists, one of the locations that he attended, and these are the locations that need disinfection. And the other is the list of the people he was in contact with. And these are the people that need to be asked to leave site, put in quarantine, or whatever the managers choose. And this can reduce infection on site significantly. And we see a lot of traction actually for that feature. Last but not least, the team. So we're three co-founders. I already talked too much about myself. With me are Eyal and Shai. Eyal is our COO. He's an industrial engineer, a project manager, and a real estate developer for most of his life. And Shai, our CTO, is writing code for the last 20 years, the last 10 of them as a mobile developer. He's in charge of dozens of very well-known Israeli applications. So we are the team that's doing all of this. Thank you for listening. We would love to talk about our current fundraising round. And if you're a general contractor that is interested in improving productivity, safety, and making sure your site is still running, feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.